Hi folks, it's John from lastchanceautorestore.com. I'd like to share with you an update. This is Eileen, the 1978 Volkswagen Westfalia camper van. And we've been doing quite a bit of work, a lot of fabrication work, and making lots of progress. So I'd like to share with you, we were going up around, we basically started on this driver's corner. We shot a video a little while ago, and we were working our way across the engine bay area, the battery trays, and then we went up the passenger side. So now we're on the driver's side corner here in this rear flare. So it was both rusted out on the outside and in behind. So essentially what we've done is we've cut out the portion that was really bad. We reinforced and replaced everything from in behind, and then we have this new piece that we've welded in. Now, one of the things that people make a mistake on, pardon me, with patches is they think when they get a replacement patch that they have to replace the whole thing. Well, structurally everything was strong all in here. You can see this is all the original metal from '78. It's in really good shape. It just had a large amount of corrosion back here. So a lot of people see a patch panel like that and say, well, I'm going to replace the whole thing. In this example, we don't need to. Everything is strong in behind and out here. So basically we just cut out the section that's bad and replace it with the new section. And as we come closer here in front of the back wheel, it's the same idea. We cut out the rotted out portions, we reinforced and replaced in behind, and then we have new steel in here, and you can see how nicely everything lines up with the groove. And then coming around, pardon me, coming around at the bottom where the rocker panel meets, the seam is flawless here. It all matches up the way it should. So now that we have the fabrication done, the metalwork and replacement on the driver's quarter panel and rear panel area, the next thing we had to do was work in this area. You can see we left the pins in right now. There was quite a bit of body damage, and at one time there was a collision, I believe, on this bus because there was a couple of deep scrubs right through into the metal, and it punched it all in, and then it was cut across there, and it was all filled in with body filler. So what we've done is we have a special machine. It's a dent pulling machine. Old school, what they would do when they have a big crease or a dent is they would take a sheet metal screw, shoot some screws to make holes in it, and then there was a slide hammer they would attach and pull dings out that way. The drawback is then you have all those holes. This is like the new age or the newer way, or in my opinion the better way of pulling dents out, because what we do is we have this special gun and these special pins with tips on them. What you do is you load the gun with a pin, it heats up the metal, and it actually welds itself like a spot welder to the areas that you trigger it on. And then what you do is you leave them there, and then you use a slide hammer, and then you pull on each individual pin, and you can see there's a staggered formation because we had two big creases. So this takes a lot of talent to be able to use one of these machines so that you can get the shape correct. And the reason why we have to use these pins is it's double walled in this lower area. There's a bunch of bracing in behind, so you can't get in behind with a hammer and a dolly, so you need to rely on these pins. So our next step, after we've got the dents out now, is we'll grind these off, these pins, and then we'll sand and prep this, and then this will be ready for refinishing. And this is the way to eliminate excessive use of body filler, is by using, it takes quite a bit of skill, but to use one of these dent puller machines with the pins. So you can see we've left the pins in just to show you all the areas that we had to work just in this section to remove the dents. And then as we come along the front of Eileen, excuse me, there was quite a few dents in the front here, and what we've done is this is what it looks like after the pins. So we shared with you where we have the pins and we've pulled it out. So now you can see these areas in here, there was an enormous amount of punching in, and most of it, I believe, was because there was a spare tire mounted here, and I think there was a couple of collisions probably at some point in time, and that's what kinked in this front nose. Fairly common when you have the spare tire bolted on the front. It tends to be the outside areas that take the brunt of the dents. So you can see there's these little heat or temperature points. So you can see where we did have all of the pins in here, and then there's a bunch of them here. And then what we do is we grind them all down, pardon me, after we've got the dents pulled out. So this saves a lot of time in the refinishing aspect of it, because most people, when they see all those dents, they would basically just keep laying on or spreading out body filler to bring all those dents out to its smooth surface. And that's why we discovered so much body filler on Eileen when we were sanding her down. Excuse me, that tickle. I think that's pretty much it in terms of this this update, because we've got all the metal work, as we can tell so far, is all done. So we removed the windshield and the windshield seal, and you can see it's very, very common. There's a lot of surface rust, and most of the surface rust along the edge where the window seam goes, going along the bottom, this is probably the most rust prone area on the Volkswagen buses or campers. And you can tell there's very little treatment from the factory in terms of paint or rust inhibiting paints or primers. So what we're going to do now that we have the windshield out, we'll just come around to the other side, and we'll also share with you that we have the dashboard out. And that was quite a bit of work, and the doors are off and everything is removed inside the doors. And now with our dash area open and exposed, we're going to, we'll cover up all the wires. We've got them all labeled. And what we'll do is we'll protect the steering wheel and the column area, and we're getting ready to sandblast Eileen. So we'll be sandblasting all of this material because we've got some different products and a lot of residue of glue and a lot of other products that they've used. So by media blasting this, we're only going to sandblast the strong areas. So these main posts around the windshield, the base of the windshield, all of these areas you can still see the paint on is a very strong area that we will not hurt the body. Same thing in here, it's a really strong area to sandblast. The front face, or this surface area, is not a good area to sandblast, the same as you can see down the side panels. We've stripped them all down by hand because it will create a lot of warpage. So on the top, on the roof edges, the rails, and around the window frames, that'll all be sandblasted. So I just want to show you this, a little bit more prep work to do, and then we'll hopefully be sandblasting over the next day or two. And we'll sandblast everything, and then we'll share with you what Eileen looks like after it's sandblasted. So this is a brief update. This is the 1978 Volkswagen Westfalia. I thank you for watching. I'm John from lastchanceautorestore.com.